You look so cute. You're so fluffy. Hi.
Okay, we need to get with the program. Cheers! Hola, mi gente. We're back.
Hi.
We might have to move this guy if...
Yeah, he's... Soon as we turned the camera on, he was
I
asleep.
know.
He was over there, far away. Soon as we turned the camera on, he's like, "Oh, I play with my Titi now. I haven't seen her all week.
Oh,
I haven't seen her all week."
So, but today we're gonna. So I know I was supposed to do my birth story, and that's gonna be out in 2 weeks. But I was like, oh my goodness, is this coming out? We have our next episode coming out on Valentine's Day. So we just wanted to do more of like a love episode. We're actually going to be talking about can relationships that were once broken be fixed? Like, can trust be fixed? Or is once trust is broken, that's it, it's broken. And then just some like Valentine's Day date ideas, maybe some gift ideas. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of do some stuff like that. But yeah, so as far as like the whole relationship and trust thing,
I don't think so.
No?
I don't. It's just because then it's always I feel like it's always in your head that even though like it depends on, what they most likely the worst thing that person can do that will ruin a relationship, I would think, is cheat.
Yeah. See, for something like cheating, I think that's like, for me personally speaking, and I think for many people that would be like a deal breaker. Like,
but people do forgive. People do take that person back and they give them an additional try. But for me, it would be like, I wouldn't be able to, because the trust is gone. Mm-hmm. It's going to still always be in your mind. Is it going to happen again? Even though they're telling you, I'm not going to do all the apologies and all the promises, but it wasn't supposed to happen in the first place. Like, what made it happen?
Yeah.
In the first place?
Like, what was the relationship lacking on there? Like, for you to cheat, I mean, unless you're just an absolute piece of shit scumbag, male or female, I'm not speaking like just about males, but what was the reasoning? Like, there's something obviously lacking if you're looking outside of the relationship to be with someone else. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like really the core issue of like what's wrong, you know?
And even if you have that conversation with your partner on what was the reason, why did you cheat? Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something that I did wrong? Is there something that changed? It's still, I don't think it's not fixable. Mm-hmm. Even if you changed what it is that they're saying that you changed about yourself, it's like they're supposed to love you regardless. Like, that was supposed to be a conversation had before you decided to cheat. Mm-hmm. Like you said too, it's both ways too. There's some women that have a different mindset than most women.
Why do women do it?
Because when it comes to like attraction,
someone's actually listening to them or doing those things that their man's not doing. Not saying it's right, because it's so different. The reasons why.
I think that men cheat. Of course, men cheat more sexually, and more women cheat because it's more mentally. I think the grass is greener, and they're like, "Oh, this girl over here is, doing what you used to do that you no longer do." That's, like I said, that's a conversation that you need to have and not be afraid of having it. There shouldn't be a reason to be afraid, because the relationship is going to get better.
Yeah. See, actually, let me backtrack a minute. First, so let me remind you that not only is it for the women to continue doing what they were doing, but are you still romanticizing her the way you used to in the beginning? Okay, because in the beginning, you were a gentleman, you do all these things, you open the door for her, you do all these little things, nothing crazy, but like
everything.
Yeah, the way what it took for you to sweep her off her feet. And that's why she was putting out all the time. Are you still doing those things? No. Like, make sure you ask yourself that question. All right, maybe she's not just giving it to me whenever, whatever. She's tired. She's this, she's that. Am I still doing for her what I used to do all the time to make her feel special, to make her feel like, just those little things that matter, because those little things matter so much to a woman.
They feel that they put in all the work of getting her, and now that they have you, they expect you to still perform the way you were performing, but they can slack off on the way that they're performing. But that's not how it works. We need those words of affirmation, like the love languages. You know, you have to learn each other's love languages. Like you have to still put in the work if you expect her or him to put in the work as well. It can't just all of a sudden turn one-sided. The one person is supposed to still constantly be performing, and you have no effort put into the relationship.
Yeah. See, and when it comes to like the trust thing for me, or a relationship that's been broken, I'm actually like, on the other side of that, I think it depends on the emotional maturity of both. First of all, obviously the circumstance, whatever it was, whatever the reason that the trust was broken or that the relationship broke. Like I said, if it has anything to do with cheating or going outside the relationship, then that's an immediate deal breaker. However, if it's anything else besides that, cheating, then I think that it comes down to the emotional maturity of both parties in the relationship. And then not only that, but how much each person is willing to put in that work, because after that trust is broken or a relationship has ended, to try to work it back out, it's like if it didn't work out the first time, it's going to be 10 times harder after that something has happened in the relationship to break you guys up. So if both parties, it depends on how much commitment they can put into it, how much work they're willing to work for this relationship, what it means to them. And because when you have one that's like not emotionally mature enough to it's never going to work. Just keep walking, like just walk away, because it won't work.
How many times, you know what, we need to go our separate ways. We need to, this is not working anymore. And that's another thing that's real toxic, that you get comfortable, you get attached, and you don't leave. You just,
Isn't it so crazy how like people, because of that comfort, it gets so hard for them to leave. And until you remove yourself from the relationship and you actually get out there, and the beginning is always going to be hard. And it's not hard because you can even know I made the best decision for myself, but it still hurts, because I always tell people that are going through breakups that come to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. And, I've talked to a few people recently where I had to tell them it's a grieving process. Even if you know this was the right decision, like I know this is not working, I can't go back, you still have to grieve that relationship. You were together, you were, it's now that person's gone, removed from your life, no longer there. And even though they didn't pass away, they're still out of your life, and it hurts. No matter what, it's going to emotionally hurt you. Yeah. So you have to just kind of go through that pain, go through the process. But once you get to a certain point, and let me tell you something, for women, it doesn't take long. Like men, right in the beginning, they're like, oh, this is great. Screw her. They're out there doing their own thing. They're dating, what have you. But then they realize it and it hits them after, like, oh shit, what did I do? Whereas women will hurt in the beginning. Like we'll be there like, fuck, because we're such emotional creatures that it hurts us. But once we realize like, wait a minute, Tom, fucking Dick, and Harry want me, and I got my friends, I got my girls, and I can go on a vacation and do whatever I want. All right, this isn't so bad, And so we kind of like suffer opposite. Yes. But for us, it's better because we suffer in the beginning, and then once we're good, we're good.
There's no going back.
Not trying to like get on the men out there, but I'm just telling you like it is.
We're just trying to give you what happens in our minds and how we go about it.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Yeah, you go through a healing process, and a lot of people. That's another thing. A lot of people don't heal, and they'll be like, it takes time to heal. It depends on how crucial or how toxic or how the relationship was. It takes time. Our abusive the relationship was. It takes time to heal. And some people don't do that. And I think that's more on a man thing. Men do not take the time to heal. They're like, oh, you broke with me, I'm fine. Like she was saying, they're on to the next girl. They're you're out of their mind because they're messing with somebody else.
Trying to fill that void, yeah.
And they're not healing at all. And that becomes a disaster. And it's so crazy also how when your friends come to you or your family comes to you, you can give them the best advice. Knowing that you're in a messed up situation in your relationship, when they come to you, you can see it bright and clear of what's wrong with their relationship, but you can't see that same thing in your relationship and give your own self that same advice.
So true.
Why does that happen where we can actually tell people where supposedly where they're going wrong, but we won't fix our own problems?
I know. I always say that or like think that. I'm like, we don't take our own advice pretty much, you know, I mean, to a certain extent. But yeah, you can always see things so perfectly from the outside looking in to other relationships. Yeah. I guess it depends. You know, some people think, no, once trust is broken, it's broken. That's it. The relationship is done. Move on. And, you know, I think it comes down to each individual relationship and that can even go for like friendships, relationships like within family. You know, I think that all kind of ties into the same thing. It's trust. It's trust in a person.
And I think that also
it is true though. You won't look at the person the same way either. It's harder to look at the person the same way.
Never again. And then it comes also down to like boundaries, and that comes with growth, that comes with age, that comes with time, that comes with experience. And I think that's another thing, that once you go through a relationship that has put you through so much trauma, hopefully the next relationship you have learned from the first relationship. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we go right into the next relationship thinking that we healed, thinking that everything's good, and then we start doing the same dumb shit that we did in the other relationship.
And God will keep giving you shit until you realize, okay, this is shit. I need to like let this go. Like he'll still keep giving you what you think you need until you realize, no, that's not.
So that's why they say you need to heal. You need to be honest with yourself. Sometimes we're not honest with ourselves. Sometimes
because it's easier to not be.
It's just them. It's always them. Then we never sit down and look at ourselves like, what am I doing wrong? What type of person am I? How do I act? What am I giving him or her or not giving? We don't look at ourselves. We always we blame it. I'm acting like this because of him or her. You know, but we have to also, we're in the relationship too. You have to really sit back and think about it and see if.
Because that's when you'll find what you truly deserve too, is when you realize, okay, wait a minute, like this is what I need to fix. And you know how they say like you attract what you put out there, you know, that energy, that vibe, what you give off, what you do, that's what you're going to get back. You need to sit back and reflect and be like, why? What am I doing? And maybe it's not something like that you're a bad person, but okay, I'm sitting here not having these boundaries, just kind of letting myself be a doormat, you know, and that's something that you need to change. That's your fault because you're not putting your foot down.
And also
and respecting yourself.
To realize, you know, not everybody loves the same. You have to let them know, and you have to show them the way you want to be loved. Some people only know the way they've been showed how to love, or their way of loving themselves might not be as high as a value as the way you want to be loved. So you have to show them, you have to love me the way I want to be loved.
I'm so glad you brought that up. You just reminded me of something I thought about throughout the week. So something that I wanted to bring up was, you know how there's the love languages, you know, the way you show love, the way you receive love. Now, my question is if someone is not loving you in your love language, okay, I know that sometimes, like if I'm not being loved in my love language, I don't feel loved enough. Now, that's not the other person's fault. So what do you do in that situation? Like, do you bring it up and say like, yeah, like, oh, this is how I like to be loved, and because you're not loving me this way, I don't feel loved? Like, I feel like that sounds so weird, but I also feel like that's like a mature aspect that you're supposed to do.
I would be like, what is your idea of love? Like you have
like
to
what
ask,
makes you feel loved.
Yeah, what makes you feel love? What do you give out to make the other person feel loved?
See, and it's so crazy because like my 20s, like early 30s, like I never even thought about those things. Like those are such important questions to ask someone, because you want to make sure the partner that you're with or the person that's with you, you want to make sure that they're feeling loved. I'm sure they want to know if they really love you, you know, and those are things you need to ask.
And sometimes they don't have the capacity, or they don't have what it takes to love you the way you want to be loved. And sometimes you have to accept that. Are you going to lessen the way you want to be loved, or you're going to move on? That's another hard thing, because sometimes like with relationships, and the reason why you break up and you go through a breakup and it doesn't last is because they don't have the capacity to love you the way you want to be loved.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because there is someone out there that can love you that way.
Definitely.
You know, where it's like, I feel like that is such a huge part, is how love languages have to kind of almost like, they say like horoscopes. It's like this horoscope, like that sign goes well with this one. It's almost like, I feel like love languages. Like you have to kind of
it's a little bit
coincide or something.
With the whole horoscope and the love languages there's no absolute in anything, but you do have to know certain things about people and their love language, their behaviors, the things that you want. And speaking about our 20s, you didn't do that. You didn't have conversations. You just have fun. You just went off the cuff. You're my person.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you realize the things that
you realize what's important. More. Yeah, like the importance of certain things. You
realize it takes
Where
a lot
is
more.
your mic, by the way? Oh, you can't even see yours. It's so funny. They're going to think I was like checking you out before I'm like looking, and I'm like looking at you up and down. You're like, what is she doing?
They're like,
yours doesn't even show.
She's like talking and nothing. She's talking into nothing, into the air.
I was like, where did she put her? But I had a friend over this week, back to like the love topic. Sorry, my ADD kicked in. I'm like, where's your mic?
But you know how I caught on to what she was trying to say, and we ran with the conversation.
I know, and then we just kept going that way, all the way to the left. But so I had a friend over this week, and she mentioned something that her man had said to her, and I'm like, that is so true. She said that he told her, we were talking like podcasts, and there's a couple good podcasts out there that, give perspective on men, like the way they feel in relationships, like the way, because I know women, we feel underappreciated and all these other things we feel, but men feel things too. There is this really great guy. His name is Jeremy Watkins, a follower of God. So he does, incorporate God into his podcast and stuff like that. But you should definitely check him out. The name of his podcast is Masculinity with a K. And he gives you such great perspectives from men, like a man's point of view. There was one I listened to at the gym this week, and he's talking about how, just some men like are undervalued and just not appreciated. And he was saying how they're almost just like trophies. Like, some men go out there in their work and they're like, okay, I gotta just take care of her and take care of her home and make sure my kids are happy. And they just walk around like a shell of themselves, but they're not truly happy. And they're not allowed to say that they're not happy because, she's putting this life on social media or out there where, okay, everything's fine. And he just has to keep like working and doing for her, and when I was listening to that at the gym, I was like, it makes you think about like, damn, you take a step back and you're like, their feelings matter too. Like how is he feeling, or what is he good? And so I really appreciate his podcast. I always take a step back and I'm like, let me really listen to what he has to say. And it makes me look at men differently and how they act. And just a different appreciation for them. So that was pretty cool. But her and I were talking podcasts, and she goes, her man had said, people will try to change you. I don't want to just say like men will try to change you, because I think women do this too, but people will try to change you in a relationship, and then they'll leave you for the person you used to be. Yeah. And I was like, like mind blown. When she told me that, I was like, that is so true. So be careful. You don't want to change a person.
Yes, and not just trying to change a person, but don't change your character. And that's what I went through too. You sit back and you realize like, I'm not the person that I used to be, and I need to go back to being that person. And don't let anybody change you, your character, because that's the person that they fell in love with. So that's the person that you need to stay.
Yep. Because like she said, they'll leave you for the person that you used to be. And it's like, what? Like that was a real eye opener. So I was like, oh my God, I got to remember to say that on our podcast. So I was glad you brought that up, because it's true. But so that was a little bit like on the, not sadder side, but more like realistic. A little bit. Yeah. I was saying negative. She's like realistic. It's just real. But since it is Valentine's Day, we'll bring a little bit of joy and happiness to the episode.
To the non-realistic side.
So we were thinking like, what are some cute like date ideas? Oh, well, you were saying, remember what were you saying earlier about, we were talking about like date ideas. And what was like one of your things that you mentioned? I was like, oh yeah, that's really good.
When like cards, like when you have a card and you're in the card and you're sentimental and you're open and you tell your true feelings. words of affirmation.
Like write your own thing in it
Yes.
too. You know, it's funny when you get the cards and it's like love.
Yes,
blah, blah.
I hate that.
You're just like, well, damn. I mean, the card was real, and sometimes the card is spot on. That you're just like, oh my god, I don't even have to say anything else.
But you want to.
But I feel like just
elaborate on what the card said in your own words. Like write a damn essay.
I could see, you know, like if it's like
grading you.
just like like you don't know the person, or you know, I don't know.
Yeah, in
but
the beginning it's different.
who writes cards to people they don't really know?
But when you're in a relationship and you've been in it for a little while, you just write, you know, things about them that you love or whatever.
Anything, yeah, anything. Oh, a cute, not gift idea. This is like a date idea thing. And this isn't even like a date thing that you have to like go spend money on or go do, but starting a couple's bucket list together.
Okay.
So you know how like you have your own bucket list? Like I know I have my things on my bucket list, but like something that you want to do together, I think is a really cute idea. Like start that. That's something different you might not have thought of, you know?
Yeah, that is different.
Yeah.
And as usual, we were talking about your normal. Like we like the flowers, we like the candy.
Flowers, please, because I love flowers all the time, not just Valentine's Day.
Yeah, she does. She loves flowers all the time. One thing that I've never had, and that would be like so different, is for the guy to plan the whole like like dinner, flowers, like a whole day, like the place to go. Even I would even
That's
say
what it was that I was talking about before. Yeah,
I would even say as far as the outfit, you know, because some guys do have a sense of style, and usually when you're with somebody for a while, you see their sense of style, you know, and you like to, or something that you would like to see them in, you know, even the outfit, and then a little card with the outfit, like something like spontaneous and surprising, something
to like where you could just like just show up or just
Yes.
be here at this time and that's it. Like,
I've seen it all over Instagram, and I've seen it on TikTok where guys have done that, where they have set up the girl's outfit and, you know, her shoes, a little card with, you know, be here at this time or be outside for me to pick you up. This is what I have, you know, something like that, you know, even maybe a bottle of, you know, we like our wine and our, you know, wine, you know, waiting for her too with the outfit while she's getting ready, like stuff like that. That would be like, that is a mind blowing for a man to be able to plan that.
That's the best. If it's simple, but if you planned it and you did everything,
oh my God, you will be, you don't even know what's waiting for you when you get home.
Yeah.
The best night of your life.
Yeah, so put in effort. And then what about like, what are some women, like ideas for women for their man? What the fuck is this?
Men only have one thing on their brain when it comes to freaking Valentine's Day. I know a lot of men that don't feel that Valentine's Day is a man's holiday. They feel that it's more for the girl. So they go, you know, they get the flowers, the balloon, the teddy. They do that for the girl, but they are expecting
their dessert at the end of the night.
They're expecting the give out at the end of the night. So,
which the women want too.
Of course
so
we do.
It works out. And especially the better you are and the better you do, the better the dessert will be.
Yes. The more fun you will have at the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like gift ideas for men for Valentine's Day, it's like lingerie.
Yes, it's
I usually do actual gifts, but
yeah, we when I was in a relationship, same. But I think for Valentine's Day, you know, they want to see you in something sexy. You know, we once again, we are the gift for Valentine's Day. You know, they like to see us in the outfit and, you know, a little, you know, performance or something like that to get the night going. But I think that's what they're hoping for after they put in all their effort.
And then there's, you know, the routine things like a spa. You could do gifts. There's like the spa packages. I think that's always a very nice, like a cool idea for couples, or a couples massage, chocolate, flowers, you know, the
usual.
Yeah, the usual for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
For men, I'd say like the same thing, or if you want to get them underwear or something, you know, depending. I think it depends on the relationship. Like you guys know, okay, like do we want to go all out, or is it just something like more simple? You know, I've been in relationships where it's like, okay, you're getting like Tiffany boxes for Valentine's Day, or no, we're just a beautiful like romantic dinner out, or something like that. It depends on the relationship and what
or
you
a
guys
beautiful
do.
romantic dinner in, because I just showed her a TikTok where the guy had set up the whole house with the chocolates and the candy and the candles, you know, and gifts.
He even set up like a paint and sip, like in his house, so you didn't have to go do it. Like he put her apron on when she got there.
And he gave her a necklace. It was really cute. He had rose petals all over the floor for her, and he had the lights dimmed. So when she came in and, you know, in a meal,
surprised her.
So
and the fact, imagine walking into that as a woman. Oh my gosh, I think that's so sweet. Like, because that takes a lot of effort to do something like that for a woman too. And her seeing that you put in so much effort, we're really appreciative of that.
For that, man, that was a good night. It was a good night.
That is true. Very true.
Might have been a good morning too.
The month, that's it. He knew he was good for the month. He's like, all right, I'm good now.
He put in the work. Like, if you would have saw the setup, he was good.
Yeah.
But some men have that in them. Some men are more visual. They're more romantic, where they know how to.
Is that something you think that men, or well, I guess like moms should be teaching their boys as they're growing, that they have to be romantic? I've never even thought about this.
That's the only way they're going to learn it.
Yeah, right?
They're not going to.
I guess as a mom too, you would never think like, oh, let me teach him how to be romantic. You teach him how to respect women and be good to women. But it's like, no, you have to wine and dine her too sometimes, or, you know, make her feel special.
Especially if you're a single mom and you're not receiving flowers and candy and stuff like that for him to see that's how a woman's supposed to be treated, you need to let him know.
Yeah. That's true. Because if they see that happening in a relationship, and even still, like when for a son to see that happening between their mother and their father, or whatever the scenario is, they, you know how they mimic what they see.
Exactly.
So, or even still with mom and dad together, the dad teaching the son, like, okay, this is what you do, this is what I do for mom, this is what you're supposed to do for a woman. So yeah, that's something to definitely keep in mind, I think, when it comes to.
Because it's rare. It's like it's for.
Especially nowadays.
They don't know how to be romantic. You know, some of these guys don't know how to hold a
And I feel like everyone is
conversation.
just so ruthless that they like don't want to be in relationships. So it's almost like, oh, what's in it for me? You know, it's so weird nowadays. I don't know. And you know what? Sometimes I sit and think, I'm like, am I just now getting older to where like our parents used to say that with us? I'm like, because things are just so different now. Like that romantic aspect isn't there. Like the respect between a man and woman.
They're too busy worried about who's going to play out who. Like getting played and mind games. They're not worried. They're not thinking about actual being in a relationship.
What is everyone saying? Everyone says there's like someone peed in the dating pool or something like that. I don't know. They say it all the time.
All the time. Oh. There's dead bodies swimming in it and everything.
It's bad. Do not recommend.
0 stars.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. But
so if you're in a relationship, think about it, hold on to that person, have conversations, do what it is that you need to do, because the grass is not greener on the other side. There's dog poop in it. So don't do it.
That's so true.
Patreon.
Oh, yes. We're going to be recording an episode for Patreon today, which is going to be spicy and juicy as always.
Yes.
Please don't forget to check out our Patreon. It's Tuesday Tea with Vee. I will definitely link it below. You guys can check out those episodes. Like I said, those are a little more like X-rated, so we can't discuss those on YouTube. But if you want to check those out, go on to Patreon, because we have a couple of things up there already, and we're going to be adding more.
So tune in.
Yes, tune in. Please subscribe as always. Good thing. I remembered something.
Hopefully she remembered. Go ahead.
Yeah. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I think last time I checked, we were at like around 600. So once we do get to 1,000, we are going to be doing a giveaway. So please, if you can, leave some comments below on what kind of giveaway you'd like to see, because we want some ideas on like what you guys want so that we can give that away. But that's something that we're going to be doing. So that's exciting. So don't forget to subscribe. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Take care.
Salute.